When a marriage is in trouble, many people think about separation before they think divorce. But what does legal separation in Michigan actually mean? Can you live apart, protect your finances, and still stay legally married? Today, we're going to unpack the truth about legal separation, what it is, what it isn't, and how it might affect your future. I'm Jim Krayeveld, founder and lead attorney at Krayeveld Family Law here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So, in Michigan, what is legal separation? Michigan doesn't really even have legal separation formally. The legal term is separate maintenance. Parties can remain legally married, but then live separately with a court order in place that divides property, deals with debts, establishes custody, parenting time, and deals with support, child support and spousal support. Unlike divorce, though, separate maintenance doesn't end the marriage, so you're still married to each other. People ask, why would I choose legal separation or separate maintenance? First of all, there are religious or moral objections to divorce. And some folks may say, I need the protection of a court order regarding property and children, but I don't want to get divorced. Some folks come to us with the issue of health insurance coverage, and they want to be able to remain on their spouse's plan, or they want to provide for their spouse through the marriage. But that can be risky and sometimes isn't advisable, which we'll talk about and unpack a little bit later. So sometimes folks say, well, we need to separate, but I'm hoping that we can reconcile. And I simply need financial and custody structure in the meantime while we work on sorting things out, going to counseling, etc. Sometimes there are financial benefits, tax or retirement considerations to think about why one would want to have a separate maintenance judgment. So let's discuss how separate maintenance actually works. The filing process is almost identical to divorce. You have a summons, you have a complaint, you have the same disclosures, you may have a same hearing, a motion for temporary order, motion for exclusive use, a motion to order child support, etc. People ask, well, but can the court award spousal support, actually divide the marital property, determine custody, etc.? And yes, they can. The judgment is enforceable just like a divorce judgment. All of the same issues are dealt with. But one of the key differences from a divorce judgment is that you're still married. Therefore, you can't remarry unless you later file for a divorce and try to change the action into a divorce. Property is divided, but your retirement accounts and your inheritance rights might continue as if you were still married unless you were to waive them. There are other benefits, like Social Security spouse benefits, that may remain intact. Now, I do want to point out at least some risks or limitations with proceeding with a separate maintenance action. If you get it for health insurance coverage only, there are insurance companies that will refuse to recognize the separate maintenance as a grounds to keep the coverage, and then the policies can change. Another objection to it or concern is that if you were to reconcile, move back in together, then separate again, it can become messy and it might increase your attorney's fees when you have to sort out the mess, divide the assets again. Thirdly, from a human perspective, there's that emotional limbo. Are you still married? Are you divorced? Are you separated? You're sort of stuck in the middle of no man's land, and that can be difficult. So, lastly, you can transition from a legal separation or separate maintenance to a divorce action. Either party may file for divorce. You can even countersue for divorce in a separate maintenance action, but sometimes people will want to do it later on down the road. Typically, if you've got a well-drafted separate maintenance judgment, the same terms can be incorporated into a judgment of divorce. Some courts will want you to go and prove why it's still fair and why they should still do it. But again, when it comes to custody, parenting time, issues that look at stability and what is the status quo, it's going to be closely implemented. So if you have a well-drafted separate maintenance judgment, it should avoid most disputes later. To summarize, Yes, separate maintenance is the official formal term for legal separation in Michigan. It can be a great tool for couples who aren't ready for divorce but need structure or protection. But you need to remember that you need legal guidance because of the consequences on your finances, the amount of support you're paying, the amount of money that you're paying. It's going to deal with custody, parenting time, etc. Your future goals need a strategy. So be sure to retain counsel regardless of your choice. Until next time.